timers, and counting devices. Timers provides the timing reference to the embedded system operations. So timer provide a regular tick that can be used to schedule tasks in program. Example, generate fixed periodic events. That means for every 50 minutes, ringing the school alarm. So we are fixing the time. The time will be calculated by using the timer. Next, periodic wake ups. So it will alert the system for every 10 seconds or per periodic time. Alert the system. Next, count edges. We can count how many number of times that operation is performed or how much time it will take for performing the operations. Next, generate delays. So we can generate delay after some time. We can fix some time after 10 seconds. Ring the bell or after alarm. The alarm will we can snooze 10 seconds or 30 seconds. So we are generating some delay. Next, measure time intervals. So in the running race, in the sports, we are measuring the time, how much time the participant will take to do the task in any events or sports, whatever maybe. So at that time, we are using this timer reference. Next, replacing the delay loops with the timer calls allows CPU to sleep and consuming less power. That means we are using timers. We are putting alarm at morning 6 o'clock we need to wake up, or morning 5 o'clock we need to wake up, or at particular time we want to wake up. Instead of every time we are checking the time, we are simply putting the alarm. When our time completed, it will ring that alarm. Otherwise, we need to check time. So now time is 6 o'clock or not. Now time is 5 o'clock or not, like that. Instead of that delay, we are using timers. So after time happens, immediately it will alert the corresponding person. So this reduces the power consumption. Means, so every time checking means it takes some power consumption and CPU utilization. We are by using timer, we are sending CPU to sleep mode and reducing the power consumption by avoiding the every time checking and by avoiding the CPU utilization. So there are different types of timers available in the embedded processing elements. One is watchdog timer. So this watchdog timer continuously monitor the system or for periodically for every 32 milliseconds. The TM4C123GH6PM microcontroller check the system, whatever the system is designed, that is working in the desired manner or not. If it is not working, this watchdog timer generate the reset signal, like that. How it is going on means, so how it knows is it working or not means, we are putting some time, or suppose 32 milliseconds the system resetted. If it is not working, that means we are 31 milliseconds we put the time. After 31 milliseconds, the timer is clear, watchdog timer is clear, means the time value becomes 0 again. If the system working properly means that value becomes 0, watchdog timer value. Otherwise, watchdog timer expires automatically. Watchdog timer, after expiring the watchdog timer value, it generates the restart signal. Like that, watchdog timer continuously monitor the system. If any problem occurs, it generates the reset signal. Next, real-time clock. RTC means real-time clock. This provides the timing reference for in our time, we are checking the seconds, minutes, hours, 5 o'clock, 30 minutes, or 32 seconds, like that. And the day of the week, that is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever maybe, Sunday, whatever maybe. Next day of the month, first date, second date, 12th date, 30th date. Next month, that is either January, February, March, June, July, August, like that. Next year, 2020, 21, like that. In the real-time clock with calendar function. So for this real-time clock provides timing reference or current time. That means that is seconds, minutes, hours, Wednesday, day of the week, day of month, that means one first date, second date, 30th date, like that. Month, January, February, July, June, August, whatever maybe. Next year, 2020, 2021, like that. Next, counter. Counter is a device that stores the number of times that event occur with respect to clock. So in the running race, we are checking the time, or in different particular operations, how many times the task is completed. 1 time, 2 times, 5 times, or 10 times. That count will be counted by the counter. Next, communication buses. So communication means how I am sharing my embedded system knowledge with you. That is interact with the others. Communication between two persons. If you are in front of me, I communicated with you with language, either English, either Telugu or Hindi, corresponding language. If you are away from the person, by using different communication buses, I share my knowledge with you. Now I am sharing my knowledge with you by using internet. That means GPRS or LTE, whatever maybe you are using internet. Through internet, I am sharing my knowledge with you. Or by voice call, I am sharing my knowledge with you. Means I communicated with you, whatever the information I want to share with you. So in the embedded system, so this communication is classified into two types. One is onboard communication, another one is offboard communication. Onboard communication means, PCB, printed circuit board. If you look at our desktops or any televisions or any electronic devices, it contains some green color pad, that is PCB card. PCB means printed circuit board. So to provide a base to the all necessary peripherals, we are using PCB. PCB means in that board we are fixing the circuit where we need to place the component, where we need to place the resistor, capacitor, processor, memory, input ports, output ports, additional hardware, whatever peripherals required. We are designing the circuit. That layout will be printed on the board. In that board, we are placing all necessary components in the embedded system. So within the board, if we are communicating, we are transmitting the data from memory to processor within the printed circuit board, or processor to some additional analog digital converter, DMA, or real-time clock, whatever may be, peripherals, that we call onboard communication. Onboard means on the board, we are providing the communication in between the peripherals. That may be processor, memory, IO ports, or additional peripherals. That is called onboard communication. So again, in the onboard, there are two types of communication: serial communication, parallel communication. Serial communication means bit by bit we will transmit. At a time, only one bit will be transmitting. Parallel means multiple bits we are transmitting from transmitter to receiver. So in the serial communication, again, there are different communication buses. That is inter-integrated circuit, I2C. Inter-integrated circuit bus, serial peripheral interface bus, universal asynchronous receiver and transmitter bus, one wire bus. These are the onboard serial communication buses. Next, offboard. Offboard means from PCB to external peripherals. How I provide the communication from my printed circuit board to another device. Like we are sharing the data from one mobile to another mobile or one device to another device. How we are transmitting? So either Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, Zigbee, or share it. Share it means Wi-Fi. Using Wi-Fi, they will transmit the data like that. So from PCB to external peripherals, we are communicating. We are providing communication. So offboard means the communication is provided in between printed circuit board and external peripherals. Again, this offboard communication is classified into two types: serial communication, parallel communication. Serial communication means again bit by bit we are transmitting from transmitter to receiver. At a time, one bit only transmitted. In parallel communication, multiple bits will be transmitted. Again, in serial communication, wired communication and wireless communication. In the wired communication means that contains some physical cable in between transmitter and receiver. In between transmitter and receiver, some physical wire like our USB cable or Ethernet cable, RS-232 cable, like that. So again, wired communication means a physical wire is connected from transmitter to receiver. Wireless means without wire, it transmitter sending the data to the receiver. Next, the wired communication. The communication bus is the RS-232 cable or 422 cable or 485 cable. Next, universal serial bus, USB cable. Everyone knows that one. Next, IEEE 1394, that is Ethernet cable. Next, CAN, control area network, CAN communication bus. Next, LIN, local interconnect, and FlexRay. These are different communication buses. So based on our requirement, based on the speed, so CAN provides 1 Mbps baud rate up to 40 meters length. LIN, most. FlexRay provides 12 Mbps baud rate. So like that, based on the speed, based on the traveling length, based on our requirements, we can choose any one of the communication buses. You know, USB 1.0, 2.0, nowadays we are using 3.0, 3.5 something, the latest one, 3.5 or 3.0, both. Like that. And again, wireless communications are infrared. In our mobile phone, you can check it once. How you are transmitting data from our mobile to another mobile. Using infrared signal, we are transmitting the data. Or using Bluetooth, we are transmitting data. Nowadays, we have so many Bluetooth devices. Bluetooth headset or Bluetooth MP3 players. Like that. Next, Wi-Fi, wireless fidelity, Zigbee, GPRS, RFS. These are the different wireless communication buses we are using in our embedded systems. Next, so serial communication. Serial communication means bit by bit, the transmitter sending the data to the receiver. At a time, only one bit will be transmitted. That is either MSB or LSB. That depends upon the direction flag we are using in the control register. The advantage of the serial communication is it contains only single wire. So for long distance communication, it is low cost. For long distance communication point of view, most of them we are using serial communication buses. See here, serial communication. All these are serial communication buses. Next, so the disadvantage is somewhat speed when comparing with parallel communication, because in parallel communication, in the single cycle, we are transmitting multiple bits. That is either 8 bits or 16 bit or 32 bit. That depends upon the cable width. So the advantage is, so in the single cycle, it transmitting multiple bits. So accessing time reduces. So that means speed increases, like printers. The disadvantage is it requires multiple wires. So the cost is high when comparing with serial communication for long distance communications. In the long distance communication point of view, when comparing with serial interface, its cost is high. So in the serial communications, we are using different methods for transmitting the data from transmitter to receiver. First one is simplex. In the simplex, only one-way communication, means transmitter only transmitting the data from transmitter to receiver. Only one-way communication. That means nowadays, I am saying you are only listening now in this part. That is simplex. Transmitter only sending the information, no reply. One-way communication. Next, duplex, half duplex. Here, our interaction like that, our interaction. So transmitter sending the information to the receiver. But at a time, only one-way communication. Either transmitter to receiver or receiver to transmitter. At a time, one-way communication. That is called half duplex communication. Next, full duplex. Here, at a time, transmitter sending data to the receiver and the receiver sending data to the transmitter. At a time, this communication will be happen. That is full duplex, walkie-talkie. These are the different methods of serial data transmission. Simplex, one-way communication. Half duplex, two-way communication, but at a time, only one way. Full duplex, two-way communication at a time. At the same time, I am sending, you are saying to me. Next, synchronous communication. So, in the serial communication, we are transmitting the data in two ways, synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous means first, the transmitter and receiver both are synchronized by using synchronizing pulses. Then only the data will be transmitted, means bulk data. So how many bytes? First byte, second byte, third byte, fourth byte, fifth byte, sixth byte. So 6 bytes at a time. Once synchronized, we are transmitting the bulk data in case of synchronous communication. In case of asynchronous, for each byte, it contains start bit and stop bits. So first we are sending start bit, next data, 8-bit data, next stop bit. Example UART, universal asynchronous receiver and transmitter. So check the differences. So in the synchronous communication, both the transmitter and receiver are operated with same clock frequency. In the asynchronous, different clock frequency. So in the synchronous, we require synchronizing pulses. In case of asynchronous, start and stop bits are required. Here, once synchronized, we are transmitting bulk data. So a group of characters can be transmitted after sending the sync pulses. Here, for each character, the start and stop bits are required. It is used in high speed because no need to send again and start and stop bits. Once synchronized, we are transmitting bulk data. So it is used in high speed transmission. It is used in synchronous used in low speed transmission. Next, synchronous generally used between CPU and other devices within the CPB, within the PCB, as same power and clock use, like I square C, SPA, SPA, I square C, SPA. Here, exchange asynchronous used to exchange data with other equipment such as PC. Example, UART. Yeah, examples of SPA. So like that, synchronous data transmit is differ with asynchronous data transmission.